And I thought it was an interesting question. You're given the definition of the second derivative, and I'll talk about this in a moment. And then they ask you to find the second derivative of this thing here using the definition. And certainly someone says, I'm not familiar with that definition. That's fine. We're just given the definition. We're going to use it. And the problem for that was actually using the definition. So going through it, I wrote down some preliminary stuff. We went through that, certainly at the whiteboard as well. And we got a solution at the end. I noticed there's some errors in the notes. I'm just going to correct them real quick. I noticed there's a dot over here. I want to get rid of that dot. All right, and what do I see that over there? It's right over here. Let me just compile it again. This document's nearly 4,000 pages long, and that's a big book, all right? So it's going to take a little time to go through it, but it will correct it. And really what it's doing is compiling every single line of code, including this line here, which is the only thing that's been changed, but it looks at every single line. And there's a large number of lines, and it's going to correct that. So let me just point out what the code looks like. The code looks like this over here. And this is long too. I mean, this is a long piece of code over here, all right? A lot of code, got in one document. Anyway, the document has been corrected. So, I went through this and, certainly it seems like a lot of work, but I did get to the end of it. You know what, I noticed an error right over here. I'm gonna correct that one too. And where am I right now? Take a look at it. And it's right over there. I'll get rid of that C dot. I didn't want to get that. Let me compile it again. All right, so what I want to do is I want to check it using Sage, all right? However, I do want to point out that my notes are not complete. I noticed that I wanted to, have a link over here to the Schwartz second derivative, and I need work on that, and I'll get to that. At some point in the future, I'll get to that. But right now, my point is to get over here and to look at this code over here. And if I'm going to do that, I'll go to my terminal. I want to clear the screen, and I'm going to type in the code. All right, I'm just checking the second derivative. So reset. I'm going to define x as a variable, and then I'm going to define f as a function. And what's that function? It's a sine of x squared. Then I want to differentiate it, and what I'm going to differentiate that function with respect to x, but I want the second derivative, and that's why the 2 is there. All right, hit the return. What do you get? I get that answer. Pretty quick, pretty easy to derive, actually, if you know the rules of differentiation. And what do I get? I get the same answer I got up here, which is 2 cosine x squared minus 4x squared sine x squared. What's the point of this, though? Being able to, go through the work. At least I believe go through the work is the point of it, and get to the answer. Oh, yeah, a lot of work. And you may remember if you took Calculus 1, how much work it was doing the first derivative with the definition. The second derivative, which is generally not offered, at least the definition of it not offered in Calc 1. But again, it's a good question. All right, thank you.